Today we're going to talk about something crazy that happened recently. A congresswoman from Georgia, Marjorie Taylor Greene, said that red states should break away from the U.S. and form their own country. What? That's insane. How does that make any sense? And what problems would that even solve? Not one. It would only create more chaos and division. And that's a terrible idea that I don't think anyone should take seriously, especially a sitting member of Congress. Now, first of all, we need to take a look at history. The Civil War was fought over a fundamental disagreement about the role of the federal government and the rights of states. And it was a long and bloody conflict that left hundreds of thousands of Americans dead. While the issues that we face today might be different, secession will still lead to significant problems for both red states and the rest of the country. How? One of the biggest concerns with secession is the economic impact it will have. Red states will lose access to federal funding, which would be a significant loss for their economies. What do I mean by that? Okay. It's no secret that blue states generally pay more in federal taxes than they receive back in federal funding. Meanwhile, red states tend to receive more in federal funding than they pay in taxes. And this includes Georgia, where Marjorie Taylor Greene currently serves, where the federal government spent about $1.29 per person for every dollar a resident paid in taxes. Now, I'm not saying that this is necessarily a bad thing. We, as Americans, all deserve help and support from our government. But it does mean that there's a certain level of interdependence between blue and red states. Let's just be honest for a second. These states receive funding for a lot of things like infrastructure projects, education, and healthcare. Without the support, red states will struggle, and I do mean struggle, to provide the same level of services to their citizens, and that's not something we want to see. We can remember back to 2021 where Rand Paul needed aid for Kentucky after years of opposing aid in other places, including a fellow red state of Texas. And speaking of Texas, they can't even keep their lights on. But the problems extend beyond finances. Another concern is that the political instability that secession will create. The remaining states will have a smaller tax base, making it difficult for the government to provide essential services. Additionally, the military would be weakened severely, which make the country more vulnerable to attacks. This is not a risk that we should be putting on people or willing to take. Safety is the primary responsibility of our government, and to suggest these things means that, well, you don't care. Lastly, secession will cause so many social issues. The United States is a diverse country, and secession will lead to the separation of communities. It will be challenging to determine which citizens will be allowed to stay in the United States and which will be forced to leave. And that could lead to a humanitarian crisis that we just can't afford. Now, I know some of you out there might be thinking, well, what are the alternatives? And let me tell you, there are alternatives to secession. Compromise, political activism, and peaceful protests are all viable options that would allow red states to express their grievances while remaining part of the Union. These methods have been used successfully in the past to address the ranging issues from civil rights to the environmental protections. Listen, y'all, secession is not the answer. We need to work together to find common ground and build a stronger, more united country. Let's leave the past behind, as the red states want to do so bad, and focus on creating a brighter future for ourselves and our children. That's all I gotta say for now. Listen, leave your comments and tell me what you think. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you all soon. Peace.